Hey, hello everyone. It's me, Young Liu Akio. Welcome to my channel, Auto Modifier Sport channel. Today is July the 27th, 2016, and I'm here wanted to make a short video showing you guys how to do a bleeding a clutch master cylinder with the clutch slave cylinder. Uh, what I'm showing here to you is this the clutch slave cylinder. I've already installed it. You need basically all these tools to do the procedure process of the bleeding. It's a one person. I'll show you how to do it with just one person, just only me doing this, bleeding the system. So you won't need two people. It's better to do it with two people because one can be out here to watch the air bubbles come out of the bottle reservoir and kind of push the rods for you too, and kind of watch out the bubble coming out the brake bottle there where the air bubble come out um, the 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 clutch bleeder bolts right there. Yeah. So I come up with some technique, and I was at the beginning I was trying to use some other technique, like some tools. At first I ran like the wrong tools because um, this clutch cylinder will only works with the harmonic balancer tool, which is the three finger or four finger, however you want to call it. This kind of tool will works on a oh, by the way, I'm working on my 98 Mitsubishi Eclipse 2000 um, 98 Mitsubishi Eclipse 2.0 liter non-turbo GS model. Is a 428 motor, and I'm in the process of rebuilding. It's almost done. It's at the last minute. And so after I did a video to bench bleeding the brake and the clutch system, my last other videos, and here now I am installing the brakes and the clutch system back into the vehicle, and showing you guys how to do a bench bleeding on the vehicle by itself with one person only. Or it's better if you have two people. So, and I'll show you the process through it. But it's basically the same concept, almost the same way like you're doing a bench bleeding, except the bench bleeding you bench bleeding it on a vise, on a vise, and the difference is here, bleeding on in the vehicle is, um, the system is installed, so um, it's already holding the system for you. All you gotta do is just install it back in your master clutch cylinder, and torque it, bolt it, and torque it to spec. Just check your manual for all the torque specs, and make sure you have some good rags and towel. Um, and always top up your brake fluid to your clutch bottle reservoir. We're using the same fluid for the clutch and the brake system. So at the beginning, I was using this Pristone .3 brake fluid. It takes .3 or .4 on a 98 Eclipse here. But at the beginning, I was just trying to use this high temperature synthetic .3 brake fluid, but I found out I waste a lot of fluid because I was trying to do some bleeding process, and there's no point of getting, synthetic fluid. You can just, and then I just went and bought some regular .3 fluid, so that's not synthetic. But I would like to go synthetic after this, so it's better to go synthetic anyway. So everything is cleaned up and everything. You want to do your last bleeding or so, and just go ahead and change to synthetic brake fluid after that. But meanwhile, while you're doing, if you're doing a bleeding process, just get some cheap .3 brake fluid at Walmart or so, and finish the process, and then you can change to synthetic brake fluid after that. Okay. So I was in the middle. I came up with a bunch of techniques, like use some clamps and use some bolts with some screwdriver extension and all that. Just trying to hold the slave cylinder fork against the piston, You see the piston, that's the piston inside of the slave cylinder. You need to push the rod against the piston so it'll hold it while you do the bleeding. And I found out I don't need like all the bolts and all that. At first I was trying to use a 2.5-inch bolt and 3-inch bolt. The 3-inch bolt is to replace the rod because you can't really take the rod out once it's installed. So I was trying to use the bolt with the clamp, you know, like this. Use this clamp with the bolt. Oh gosh, it's kind of hot. All the tool is hot right now, so I'm not holding it. It's really hot. Sunny out here today. I'm sweating like a pig too. So you would need to use, all right, you need to use the, I try to speed up the process of the video to 15 minutes, exactly, so I won't have to do a part two, and I might do a part two. I might have to do a part two on this video. But all right, let's get back. You would need to have a wrench too. Um, this process, at this situation, a regular wrench will work because a flat wrench like this will only work. It work too, but it's not so good. That flare wrench only works if you're trying to take out the the hose line because of the nuts and all the hose lines. But at this point, this this bleeder valve, you want to use a regular wrench. Okay, so try to put this back together here. Oh my goodness, I need this wrench to show you guys about the bleeding process later. If it stays, okay, it stays. All right. So then I was trying to use the boat, but then I find now, it's too much work, and don't really need to use the boat and the clamps to hold the pitch rod in, because I find out, once you install it in, and the piston rod will eventually push like maybe halfway at the piston. So that's kind of like a car hold off for you right there. So it doesn't really matter unless you're doing a bench bleeding, then you can release the whole piston all the way out and push it all the way in. But it's not necessary. So what? You might have a little bubble after this process here. Bleeding in the car, you probably have a little bubble after that, but so what? It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt the system or anything like everybody else trying to say. If you still have bubbles inside the system, it'll break your system. If you have a lot and you use it over time, yes, it might damage the system. But if you have a little bubble or so, forget it, move on. Just like the dealer done, the dealer doing the same way. They're not gonna, finish sucking all the air bubble out of your system for you. No, I don't think so. All right, so okay, not trying to uh, talk about dealer or anything like that. So, but anyway, that's how I think. That's the whole, if you think about it, you kind of understand what I'm trying to say here. Um, but anyway, it's a complex. It's difficult to do this kind of work too, especially by yourself. So it's best for you to, have someone help you out too. Um, and it's difficult too because you have to do, walk back and forth and gotta remember here and there this kind of technique, how you do this and that. So it's complex too. Okay, it's not easy like everybody think. When I show you, it might looks easy, but when you're doing it, it's hard. It's just hard when you're even trying to push the rods in, into the fork right there. All right. So forget about the tools and all that. You might want to use the harmonic balancer tool when you do the bench bleeding, but not, bleeding when the system is inside the car. Okay. Um, Go ahead and have 3/8 clear hose, and I might stop a video to continue with a part two. Okay, so don't mind me there. Um, all right, so go ahead and find you a 3/8 clear hose. As long as fit the bleeder valve right there. Um, it's called the bleeder valve for the clutch cylinder slave. Okay, it's different than a master cylinder. Okay, master cylinder is up there. I'll show you in a minute. Go ahead and find your 3/8 clear hose and the right size for the bleeder valve and plug it in. Um, have your wrench ready to loosen the bleeder valve. I usually, you know, have it set where it's easy to, you know, loosen and tighten it. Okay, so you just find your way there. Um, Go ahead and install um, your the uh, the clutch cylinder slave like I did. Okay, there's two bolts. Not so, don't tighten the bolt to the torque. Yeah, just tighten it, but don't torque it. So and then go ahead and install. Okay, before you install the rods with the boots, you might want to put some of this seal glide grease. It's called seal glide grease from Napa. It's like yellowish looking, but you can use red rubber grease. It's for the boots. Okay, now this the boots right here, inside the boots, and you know, kind of outside the lips too, so you know, dust and grease won't, you know, flies in, and you know, it gets lubrication inside the boot too. But you have to use the right boot grease. Okay, don't use like, you know, I was trying to use multi complex grease and all that, red complex or black and all, gray and all that. Don't try to use those kind of grease. You can, but you never know, it might swell up your boots, because those kind of grease will swell your boots later on. That's what I've been told. The only kind of grease that it's not going to swell the boots later on is using either red rubber grease, which they don't sell that in the United States that much anymore. You have to buy it outside the country, and it's expensive as hell. Expensive, I mean, like 500 milliliter or 18 gram is like 10 bucks, and a can of 500 ml is like what, 20 bucks. But you can use like several cars for that purpose, or get you an 18 gram. You can use like 2 cars, but 18 grams like a little tube like that. So, or you can just go to Napa and get you some seal glides. It's another, you can put this with the clutch system boots, but the seal glide made for the brake. Okay, it's most likely made for the brake. That's what they say. It's non-melting, non-freezing, non-gumming, weatherproof. I put like other grease like the red tag or complex red. It becomes hardened after, you know. So it's not smooth like this kind of grease. This kind of grease will stay smooth. It's yellow white looking. Okay. Also, you might want to have anti-seize too. So the seal glides, you install the seal glide inside the rubber boot there, and a little bit outside the lips. And the anti-seize, remember the anti-seize is, you're going to install the anti-seize on the tip of this rod out here, and inside this inside the tip of this what I'm pointing to, inside there of the fork right there. So put some anti-seize in the middle part of that area right there. Okay, so you know, you have lubrication both way. And of course the fluid going to be inside of the the slave cylinder piston and all. And go ahead and install it, so you can start the bench bleeding process now. And I will stop here this video and come back with the second part of the video. Okay guys?